Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing? I think, yeah, looks like all the sound is going. How are we all doing on this absolutely fantastic Tuesday? And, you know, you guys have managed to have the dogs in your hands for, oh, geez, what's that? Quick maths. 5 hours now, something like that. So it's going pretty good. Oh, that's right. I gotta turn. Sorry, I was looking in the wrong window then. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Arshak that we've got here, and
hey everybody.
He is the main game designer that put all the time and effort and research into making the dog. So the dog that you know we're all lucky enough to play now is basically this guy's brains. And yeah, so today we're just going to be you know, going through the dog, the design process, you know, and so you guys can kind of understand what went through it, and you know, maybe some of the decisions, why they were made and stuff like that. So, and Arshak, you've got a doggo in real life as well, right? So a born and bred dog man.
Yeah.
So no, that's cool. And then so also just to clear up, because you know, I'm sure Arshak's the same too, there was lots of people involved in this. Okay, so Arshak did kind of the foundation work for it, and then other people have done the UI work. You know, that's a whole different part of the design. And of course there's the artists and the fabulous animation team. Who am I missing? Coders as well, of course. They're pretty big. Nothing really works without code. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're a big team.
Yeah.
Everybody really pulls their weight to get it to work, to feel great. Sound also super important.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, first off, let's just, you know, have a little bit of a gauge in the chat there. Who, if you have the dog, what do you give it out of 10 so far? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see your comments in there. We're all watching, you know, what's going on. 13 out of 10 is the first one, and that's always a good one. 10, 9, I love dogs. No, every time, 100 out of 10. Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, just while those, oh my god. You know, this is weird. There's usually a few people that have got some low ones in here, but everything's looking really rosy at the moment. 1 million out of 10. It's good. Yeah, before we kick off, actually, let's get some sort of, because we're about to dig like really down the dog rabbit hole. We'll just go through a couple of little things that we're aware of. Hopefully we've got it fixed before most people get there, but some of you guys that want to send some of the creators in the weekend, the dog is going into like a slow motion mode once it hits the top level. I think we found out what's going on with that, and we're just going to try and work out, how to address that the best we can. There are a couple of different ways that we can address it. So, but we just want to let you guys know that we're on to that one. The Xbox update being 55 gigabytes, we're really sorry about that. That's not controlled on our end though. However, it's the Microsoft that does the final compression for files and stuff like that. Patches, sorry, and it's they ultimately decide how big a patch is going to be. So there's a couple of little hot points. I'm sure some more will come to mind. But anyway, Arshak, ladies and gentlemen, this is me doggo. So Lucy, I called her.
It's a cute dog.
Yeah. So oops. Hang on a second. I need to get him to sit first, so I can give her some pets and some hugs. There we go. Good girl, Lucy. So yeah, why the tracking dog, Arshak? Like, what was the reasoning behind that, and why did you guys decide to go for that?
Yeah, we looked at all the dogs. I mean, all the different types of dogs that we could do, and ultimately, it's a lot of things that have to kind of merge and work together for the dog to feel good. We're looking at future reserves, what we're gonna do there, and there are also technological issues with water and stuff like that. And we decided that the tracker dog would be the best thing for us to start with.
Yeah, sweet. No, that's cool. So the the other thing too, which I think you might touch on too, is just about everything that was put into this dog was from the survey that we put out for you guys. So how helpful was that for you, Arshak?
That was really helpful. I mean, I always try to read the forums, try to look at the streams. So there's always a lot that goes into trying to understand what you guys are looking for, and trying to also do what you want, but also trying to also surprise you with new stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what we always aim for, to bring you what you want and also keep it fresh.
Yeah. Well, I've just got to say, you've definitely done that. Like, as most people know, I'm quite a big classic fan, and this dog is definitely much better than the classic dog. I'm just going to put that out there. It's really nicely done, and it just fits. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like what you'd expect from a dog, I think, that's how I see it anyway. So
yeah, I've spent many days looking at my own dog, looking at the classic dogs, looking at other dogs, a bunch of research. So I'm glad it feels good.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. Sorry again, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear the kids crying in the background. They're downstairs, but everyone's still working from home because of COVID over here, so I can't do too much about it, unfortunately. So let's get into the next part then. So the Bloodhound, as a breed, what made you pick that as a tracking dog?
It was my personal first pick because it's such a classic, such a specific dog for tracking, right? There's a lot of other scent hounds that could work. I know Classic has a German short-haired pointer.
Yes.
But ultimately, we decided to go with the Bloodhound because of its iconic nature for tracking.
Yeah, I gotcha. No, I think it's a good. I thought it was a really good pick, actually, to be fair. So, and I see a lot of people saying, is there going to be more breeds of dogs and stuff like that? We mentioned that last week as well. But basically, we're putting. This is the first dog we put out. We're going to see how you guys like it, what you don't like about it, and things like that. And it's a bit of a tester. I was talking to Sasha too, who's the product owner. He was saying we're more likely to do a different type of dog next. So like a tracker, a pointer or a retriever. And then we'll think about adding different breeds in on top of that, So, I see. Buck.
Yeah, I would imagine you guys would rather also have different types of dogs before you get breeds, right?
Yeah, actually, that's a good.
That's my feeling, at least.
Yeah, I think that you're probably right, but so I hope that was a good shot. I just saw nearly my first black buck. I actually had a big trouble getting them the other day. So, but I've hit them, so we should be able to get Lucy onto the job. So,
go Lucy.
So yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, people are saying retriever. So I think, did you touch on that one too about it? Just to recap, guys, that the tracking dog was kind of like the the safer bet to go with first, because it's such a big feature, and like it's easier. It's an easier starting point for us to gauge how you guys, interpret the dogs and stuff like that. Like, it was a smart choice basically to put out a quality product first. So.
Yeah, working with the next dogs, whatever type that might be, we've put a lot of the foundation work in place to be able to like experiment more with other stuff. So, as Matt just said, it was the smarter dog to start with. But looking at the other dogs that we might do, I mean, I think you've also mentioned some of that. What they could be, it could be a retriever or a pointer or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just looking at the blood track here too, because I think we might have this a little bit further down, but we can retouch on it again later. But there's some quick call commands you can do for your dog, and one of them is to be looking at the track and then push B. That's correct, right?
There's we call it context sensitive commands. So you have to you don't need to open the wheel at all times to do the things that you do a lot. So for tracking blood tracks that you specifically want to track a specific one, you go and you examine that track, and then you just press B, and the dog will know that that's the track you're talking about.
Yeah, there we go. So I just demonstrated it there. Like, you can hold B and you get a whole option to come up, but what did you call it? Like smart?
Context sensitive.
Context sensitive, there we go. So you don't have to hold it down to that. You just look at the blood, make sure you get the interact. See this one here? Like the track, examine track thing come up. Then just put B on it, and then the dog will start tracking on it. So the other quick one is just tapping B when you're away from the dog, and it'll call the dog over, correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
correct.
That's cool. So now what we'll do is we'll tell her to sit and give her a bit of a pat too. So
watching some of the streamers, there seems to be a little bit of a confusion for when the dog actually finds the harvest. When the dog has reached the harvest, it has found it. It doesn't need to do the barking for it to be done. That's a good thing to note.
Oh, there we go. That's cool. That's very good information. Oh, it does work. So there we go. So the other one that we were talking about before was, if you are looking at the dog and it's sitting down and you have this interact, you can just tap B and it automatically gives it some, affection. So you can go to the wheel and change, what you want to do to it. Play or pet or give a treat like this. But hitting B or looking at the dog while it's sitting like that will automatically give it some praise as well, which is cool.
Yeah, and the type of praise you give it basically determines how much praise it gets or the type of affection you show it. So doing the quick one, which is the praise, where you don't have to be close to the dog, you give it a little bit more of a bond boost. Playing with it is a little bit more, and petting it is the most. And also giving a treat is also a whole lot.
Yep, that's cool. And so you can keep stacking them up, can you? Like, could you sit there, if you were that way inclined and continuously bond with your dog, I suppose is the right way to put it. So
if you pet your dog like a million times, obviously that wouldn't be that would be kind of like excessive. Mm-hmm. But every time you do one of the commands, like if you give him a pet, then you get the bonuses for that.
Yeah.
And then if you do another command like praise, you also get the bonus for that. But if you do the same thing over and over again, then you won't get any bonuses.
I forgot to call her over. Left just sitting there. Oops. No, that's cool. That makes sense as well. So, yeah, no, that's cool. I just saw it. So the dog doesn't take any inventory space up, right?
Sorry, what?
Your dogs do not take any inventory space up?
No, they don't.
No, that's cool. Just saw that one there. So it is already available, Eric. April on Facebook there. It went out about 11 o'clock today. So I always say it too, but on release days, we always try for 11 a.m. European time, okay? So just make a mental note for any release. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes there's like little hold-ups when pushing them live. That's just the way things go sometimes. But that's our intended release time on the days. So there we go. So how does the tracking work, Arshak? Like, talk us through, like, I mean, obviously people just saw it there, so it's a little bit, more self-explanatory, but maybe some people have just joined and maybe there's some more kind of intricacies to it that people should understand about.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually a couple of things that goes into the tracking. There's also a couple of different, let's call it stages or scenarios for tracking. I could start with the first one. When you've shot an animal and you don't exactly know where the blood is, you're asking the dog to help you find the first blood track. In those cases, starting from the base, it always depends on how leveled up your dog is. A low level dog will naturally be less effective at finding tracks, while a high level dog is quicker. Then the second thing, that it's the focus, which is, you could also call it stamina, I guess, if you want. So a dog with high stamina is quicker to find what it needs to find. It's also quicker to respond to your commands. It's basically across the board, stamina affects everything it does. So that's why you want to keep the dog at a high stamina.
Gotcha.
And then the distance to that blood spot also factors into how long it will take the dog to find it. So when it's searching for the first blood clue, it basically says searching for blood clue, and the distance decides how long it takes, and also what type of shot you got into the animal. So if it's a good shot, which leaves a lot of blood, the dog will naturally find that track faster.
Cool, that's good to know. That's really good to know. So.
And it's about 60 meters, the distance at which the dog can find a track. So we don't want you to always just be clicking find track, find track, find track. We want you to at least be like, okay, there's somewhere in this vicinity I shot the animal. So you don't, Cool.
And on the low level dogs, like roughly how close does somebody have to be to the shot area?
It's 60 for all dogs. That doesn't change.
Okay, cool.
I'll explain a little bit about the reason behind that.
Yeah.
Since it's not a distance that the player can easily gauge, we want them to get a feel of like, okay, it's about this distance, right? It's always this distance.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But when you're at that distance, the dog, a high level dog, will still find the track quicker. So it's better to have a high level dog than a low level dog naturally.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Apart from that, when the dog actually finds a track and moves from track to track, the same type of things matter. You know, the blood, the distances, the efficiency, the levels, that decides how fast the dog can find the tracks. And then the last part, which is something that I don't think anybody has actually talked about, is the dog only tracks blood, right? It doesn't track footsteps or stuff like that. But there is a chance that you shoot an animal and then the animal doesn't die. It just bleeds and runs, continues running. There's no more blood spots for you to track. In those cases, the dog is still useful because the animal is still theoretically dropping blood, even though you can't see them as a player.
Gotcha.
So the dog will actually still hunt an animal that you shot but stopped bleeding.
Oh, that's really handy.
Yeah, so you can still continue tracking an animal that's basically just running away from you, but stop bleeding. But there's something to be aware in those cases. The dog will continue tracking that animal and get closer and closer to the animal as soon as that animal stops fleeing. Then basically it's your job as the handler to be aware of at what point do I want the dog to stop tracking, because it'll run up to that animal as close as it can get and it will spook the animal, or you will spook the animal if you're just following the dog without kind of being aware of your surroundings.
Gotcha. So you kind of at that point would whistle it to heel or stop or sit or
exactly.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And I mean, because I saw a few people like that too. Like, tracking dogs in real life work like that too. You usually have to take them to roughly the spot, right, and they'll pick up the clue. So I saw a streamer earlier today. It was 100 meters away, wondering why his dog wasn't going to pick up the scent, but it's just kind of unrealistic. So yeah. No, that's cool. I think that's great. So where are we up to now?
I could also mention this. This is pretty interesting. Yeah. I don't think I've heard anybody talk about this. There's this ability we call it critical position, in which the dog kind of helps you be aware of what's happening around you in the world. So if you're tracking something, just not tracking the blood, but just tracking an animal, you've spotted that animal and you're moving towards that animal. The dog, being also from the animal kingdom, has the ability to kind of sense what's going on in those circumstances where you might not be that attentive or looking at what's happening.
Oh,
and if cool. if you're tracking something and the dog kind of hunkers down and goes into sneak position, the dog's trying to tell you that you're about to spook that animal. So if you're paying attention to what's happening with your dog and where it is, you can get information about what's going on in the animal you're trying to hunt.
Oh, that's cool. So how will the dog indicate that?
We have an icon, the icon
Yes.
above the air compass that says critical position.
Yes.
And the dog hunkers down into a sneak position.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's pretty awesome. I like that.
Yeah, which is super, super useful if you shoot an animal but don't kill it, because you're still chasing the same animal that's alive, right?
Yeah, I gotcha.
That's a real good indicator of you getting close to the animal you're trying to hunt.
Yeah.
With the critical position.
Okay, that's cool. And I mean, this one's a little bit off the cuff, but I think it's a really good one to answer. Is, does the dog spook animals?
It does.
It does. There we go.
It does. But since what we looked for in designing this dog is having it more streamlined than it was in Classic. Like, we don't want it to be a burden for you. We want it to just be a fun companion that is lifelike and it's good to have on hunts. It's situational for some players, but like for other players, it's always good to have. Oh,
are you there? I think I should. Oh, connection. We have a connection issue. Oh, you're back again. You're back again.
Am I back?
You're back.
I can hear
yes.
you, but I couldn't see myself.
No,
Okay, cool.
You're back. There we go.
So I was saying, situational, right? Did that come out?
Yes, you said you were at. We made it more streamlined than Classic, and we wanted it to be a companion or something. I think.
Exactly. Yeah. We didn't want you to like not take it out on hunts because it annoys you in any way. We want you to always, like, if you want to have a friendly dog with you that is kind of cute and like, oh, this is cool, then you should always want to have it with you. It should never be in your way. And that's why we made the dog so it still has a cast threat. It can spook animals, but it does it at a lot less degree in what you do. So it has to be pretty close to the animals to scare it.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, it would feel weird if the dog runs into a bunch of animals and nothing happens, right? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be pretty immersion breaking, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So there we go. So another thing too, which I just see someone, why is it taking so long to download? Is that on PC? It's really important you guys are aware that we don't control things like that. It's like Steam caps download limits. The Xbox big update. Let's recap that on it as well. Microsoft controls the. We give them the patch and they do the last compression on it. So we're not sure why it's so big, but obviously it was needed for some reason. So there we go. You don't have to take the dog with you. You can leave it at home as well. Yeah, you just deselect it. We'll go through the purchase process and stuff soon, and show you how you can name the dog and stuff like that too, I think. So, so are there any tips, like how does someone get the most out of their dog?
Oh, that's a good question. We've tried to make sure that the dog fits different types of playstyles, right? If you're the type of player that you shoot animals and you can't find the harvest, then there's like a use case for you where you just ask the dog to follow the tracks. If you're the type of player that you almost, if you find the blood spot, it's pretty easy for you to get to the harvest. But sometimes you place a shot and you can't really find the first thing. We also added the dog will find the first blood for you even if you're not exactly sure what it is. And we also tried to make the dog in the companion, let's call it path, a good companion to have on hunts with you, as it helps you, even if tracking is not really that difficult for you. You still want to have a dog with you. It finds scat, it finds points of interest. It also gives you information on like, okay, this animal I'm hunting, it's about to spook. So there's a lot of different use cases for the dog. And if you want to use it at its peak always, then you need to be kind of aware of its focus levels and its bond levels. But it's also done in a way that I could go into talk a little about how focus and bond works. Since I'm already here, right?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect time to get into that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So as I was saying, the focus is kind of the dog's stamina. It goes from being at its rested level, which is if you don't use the dog to do anything specific, it's rested and it's ready to work. As soon as you ask it to do something, whether it be sit or track and stuff like that, you use some of that focus, and it depletes it. Again, if you just leave the dog alone, it'll slowly build up that focus again. The bond mechanic is basically how quick the dog will get to its rested state.
Gotcha.
If you have low bond, which means you're not encouraging the dog to do its work, you're not really caring about it that much, then the dog will slowly build up its focus. But if you're giving it love, giving it affection, and you have a high bond, then it'll regenerate its focus quicker. So this is also depending on how much you want to use your dog. If you just use a dog once in a while, then perhaps you don't need to have the highest of bonds. But again, who doesn't want to pet their dog, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. No, that's good. I think hopefully you guys out there clip that part and keep it in your memory bank. So if you need to refer to it.
All this information is also in the codex during under tutorial if you want to double check.
Very good point as well. Very good point. So, no, that's cool. I'm just trying to find some black buck. I had this issue the other day. I think because I'm using a kind of a weird dev build here, there might be something wrong with my population file. I was probably supposed to reset it myself or something. I think I'm not playing on live, ladies and gents. So just to clarify with that. What have I done with rifle effective ranges? They're all under 20 meters now. I haven't just noticed anything of that. I've been using the rifles quite a bit in the weekend, actually. So, no, that's cool. Thanks, especially the focus on the bond part, Arshak. I think that's pretty important as well. So, yeah. And then the other thing I heard you touch on before too is that the dog does more than just track, right? And you wanted it to be kind of your companion as well, so you can pet it and give it a treat and play with it as well. So that was all how did that fit into the game design for you? I suppose I'm guessing it was being a dog person yourself, it was probably pretty high, in the requirements, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really wanted the dog to be a companion that you feel like it's fun having and you kind of bond with. That was one of my main objectives. We were talking about, obviously you have to be able to name it. Obviously you have to pet it. I mean, who doesn't want to give your dog a treat? Isn't that just lovely, right?
Yeah.
And that in conjunction with it's basically self-sufficient when it's with you, right? You don't really have to baby it that much. Is super important for us to feel like you can always just have it with you. It's always a companion.
Yeah, I think it's like I was saying, I think it's great. It just feels like it fits. It's not in the way. It's feels like your dog that's by your side all the time, and
yeah.
Especially being able to name it and stuff like that, you get a really good bond to it straight off the bat, really. So
yeah,
cool.
and I imagine playing with it a lot. Obviously, I played a lot with it. For me, just having it with me, it's no longer a decision. Should I have a dog with me or shouldn't I have? It's just always with me, right?
Yeah.
And if I shoot an animal, for me after a while, it's not a case that I should always track with it, because I don't see it as okay, I always need to track with it, because sometimes it's just I can just track it myself, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then other times it's oh, I can't find this animal. It's difficult for me. I don't know where it went. In those cases, I'm okay, perfect. I'll just use my dog because it's with me.
Yeah. And I mean, again, that's just real life hunting too, right? Sometimes you drop the animal on the spot, and other times you're not so lucky. So
yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Well, I think we might have a good chance here to talk about the chance that your dog fends off an angry animal here. Can you run us through that quickly before it happens? Yeah.
That water buffalo looks kind of angry.
Yeah, they're looking. I'm getting pushed around by the dog here. He's like, go away. So yeah, what? How does that mechanic work, Arshak?
Which one?
The the dog being able to ward off, or warn you of an angry.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's also good. You were talking about what the dog can do. So the dog also senses predators around you. Naturally, all animals, not all, but a lot of animals can attack you if they get aggressive, but they're not predators per se. So in those cases, the dog doesn't really it doesn't care if there's an angry moose around you, but if there's an angry predator around you, the dog will give you some form of notification that there's something around. It doesn't tell you where, but like it senses something getting closer.
Okay.
And it actually gets like the growls and barks kind of get higher as the predator gets closer, and if it gets closer and closer.
Okay, that's cool. So if will the dog actually push the attacking animal away from you? Or is it more of just a warning kind of thing?
Base dog only gives you a warning.
Okay.
But there's a trait for that, right? There's the chance that the dog wards away. It's called brave, that trait.
Yes.
So there's a chance that the dog could save you from attacking predator.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I think.
But it still could. It's not 100%, right? Just to be aware.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, again, right, like real life, I don't know if a dog would be much good against a wolf, or especially a bloodhound, against a wolf or something. So, there's a little tiny black buck. I think we should try and quickly.
What was it?
Put zero tracking on that one. There we go.
I'm not aware. I'm not used to the delay in the stream, so I'm basically watching you play for 5 seconds.
It takes a little while to get used to it, right? So. No, that's cool. We'll go and I'll go quickly. I'll go and pick up this animal quickly, and then let's have a look at the the skills for the dogs, and we'll talk through those as well, so people can get some information about that.
Yeah.
So let's have a look now. If I think I'm probably about 60. Let's go track and see if you go straight for the animal. I mean, because this part of me is getting excited to turn the glowy parts up one time, so maybe if the animal's in deep thick bush somewhere, here we go, Doggo's found it, so
yep,
good times.
This is also something that this is something from Classic, and I know we've talked about in the group, like the dog actually it's only a matter of how effective it is, this dog. It doesn't really do any it won't let you down, if I put it in another way. It won't miss what you're looking for. It won't go off on the wrong trail. It might just take longer for it, but in the end, it'll always do what you ask of it.
Gotcha. That's cool. So the more experienced will find the blood or find the animal faster. The less experienced will take a little bit longer to do it. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yep. In a nutshell. All right. So we're going to go and have a look. Actually, let's have a look at the skills first now. So you go down here to hunting dog. And then, wait, am I in the right one? Yes, traits, that's what I'm talking about here. I just had a complete mind blank there for a second. So I'm up to level 9 already, which is cool. And level 3 tracker. So there we go. So
I could just quickly talk about the difference between companion and tracker. As I mentioned, companion is the how well the dog is in, just being around you, how likely it is to follow you closely, or how likely it is to just wander off by itself. A high-level dog is more likely to be close to you. It's also how, when you give it a command, how quick is it to respond to that command? Stuff like that. How fast does the focus regenerate? And companion is something that levels up just by being a companion. As long as you have it out on hunts, it's slowly gonna go up. Tracker, on the other end, is how well the dog tracks and picks up scent. And that only levels up if you basically practice or teach your dog to track, which is having it track animals.
I gotcha. So, just to recap, make sure I got that. Companion is more about how much bond you've got with the dog, is that correct? And then the tracking skill is literally tracking.
Yeah, the companion level, it does affect your bond and focus, but it's not directly connected to bond.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically the dog's... if you imagine you had a dog on a hunt that wasn't a tracker, that wasn't a retriever, it just, you just had a dog with you, right?
I gotcha.
And you asked your dog to be close to you, physically close to you.
Yes.
A low-level dog or an untrained dog might just run around, right? Just sniffing poo, just doing whatever it wants to do. Cool. While a high-level companion dog would be okay, I have to be close to my handler. I have to be, aware of what's going on. If he asks me to sit, I have to sit down directly. I don't have to okay, I'm just going to sniff a little while and then sit down.
I gotcha. Makes sense. That's cool. And then if we go to traits, then it's broken up into 6 different brackets, and you can only pick one per level. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to choose wisely.
You have to choose wisely. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You can't, have all 12 skills, unfortunately. But that's all good. I think it's a good. I like a game that makes you pick wisely. I think it's quite a good decision to make. So
Yeah, we wanted all the dogs to be somewhat unique. Like this dog is not the same as that dog, So that's why you have to kind of tailor your dog to your needs.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very smart way. So let's have a look at level 5 perks quickly, and I'll, because obviously there's a bit of a delay, I'll read them out, and if you've got anything to say about them, just cut me off, or we can kind of go through them, fast. So level 5, you've got the options to pick between loving, which is you have an even more loving relationship with your dog, which increases its overall bond, which is actually the one I went for. I thought that was a smart one to pick to start with. And then the other level, the other skill at level 5 is your dog can skip detour tracks in favor of more recent clues. So do you want to just talk about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So detour tracks basically means that you shot an animal, it's running away, but the animal kind of doubled back or ran in a circle or did some weird movement because the terrain was in a certain way. That skill makes it so the dog doesn't have to go all the way around to follow each and every blood spot to find the animal. It could go okay, there's an actual blood track closer, the smell is stronger and the blood track is more recent here than it is over there. Well, I'm not going to go around this big log or whatever to get to the animal. So basically it helps your dog get to the harvest quicker.
Oh, nice.
And that also means that in some cases where the dog is kind of going in some other direction, it might know better than you know where the animal is, if you don't specifically know where the harvest is.
Gotcha. That sounds like a handy one too.
Yep.
So level 10, the two you can pick through is the Sixth Sense and Nosy. So Sixth Sense, your dog has a higher chance of sensing when an animal is about to be spooked. That one to me seems really good, I think.
Yeah. Again, this is coming back to how do you want to play? How do you want the dog to help you? Some players might find that they don't have troubles, understanding about animals or shooting animals, and in that case, the Sixth Sense might not be for you, and you prefer the dog just being a bloodhound, and you want to find blood tracks quick, then that one's for you. But yeah, so basically, your dog has a higher chance of sensing when an animal is about to spook is when you're tracking something, and you're getting close, and you can't really tell, or you feel like I often scare off animals. That's your basic problem in the game. Then the Sixth Sense is really good for you because it'll help the dog be more attentive about what's going on around it and gives you information about that.
Gotcha. That's cool.
And
yeah, keep going. Sorry, Nosy.
Yeah, Nosy is, as I said, it's a roughly 60 meter. I don't know how much that is in feet, but 60 meters is where the dog can pick up sense for if you don't know where the first blood clue is.
Yes.
If you take Nosy, then you get an extra, let's say 15 or something meters that you can help you.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's actually quite a nice little boost there too. I think I'll be taking the Sixth Sense one because I do a lot of bow hunting, and so I feel like that'll be, I'm already in close to the animal, so I should be able to find the blood track. So for me, I think the Sixth Sense one will make more sense for a bow hunting build. So level 15, your dog will howl like a wolf on command. Please go over this one, Arshak. What does this do for people?
This is mostly because this is one of my ideas early, because my dog, she can howl like a wolf. I think many people's dogs can do that. You just go "arr," and the dog also howls, right? Mm-hmm. That's very iconic for me. So I wanted these perks or these traits to be both kind of functional and also just uniquely making your dog special. If you think this is important, which I do, then you pick this. Because again, I didn't want the dog to just be a tool. I didn't want it to be a Swiss Army knife. I wanted it to be like a companion, right?
Yeah.
So howl is just a howl. It howls on command.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And you were telling me there's a little secret with it. Do you want to keep it a secret, or do you want?
I'll keep it semi-secret. I think players should, if somebody gets howl, they should go in multiplayer and with a bunch of dogs and try howl and just see what happens.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. All the content creators will be leaving now, trying to go and trying to catch that on video.
multiple dogs. You have to have multiple dogs.
There we go.
So yeah. So cooperative play.
That's cool. I like that one. So this one is nosier. Your dog is better at picking up the scent from smaller blood clues. So I guess that one's pretty self-explanatory. Like if your shot's not so good, then it's faster to find the hit of the blood for it, I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Level 20, your dog is naturally more willing to work and has increased focus. So that one's called Sharp. And I guess that's a pretty self-explanatory one as well.
Precisely. So if you use your dog a lot and you get kind of tired of giving it treats and trying to get the bond to be high, then that's the skill for you, because it'll just give your dog a higher baseline of focus.
Gotcha. So Spotted is your dog has a chance to highlight the wounded animal you're tracking. I like that one.
Yeah, this one is actually pretty cool. So if you shoot an animal and you only wound it, it doesn't die and it runs off, right? And you're trying to find it again.
Yes.
The dog will at times give you like, oh, it's over there. And you get like a flash in your HUD.
And I like
gives.
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say too. Like, especially like sometimes the animal regroups with the herd, and you're like, "Oh damn, which one is it?" You have to look for the wounded animation, stuff like that. So I think this will be, especially if you're in tight bush too. Again, for bow hunting, I think I'll be picking this one at level 20. So that's cool. Level 25, your dog has a higher chance of staying close to you. That one's called Close. So what's the benefit for a player from this? I guess better dog control.
Exactly, it's better dog control. It's just making sure the dog is around you, close to you. It's one of those that's maybe not super strictly functional, but just a thing that I love having my dog close to me when I walk in the woods. I also love it when she just runs around, But there's just that tight connection with your dog when it's close to you.
Gotcha, I like it.
Also, it is easier to keep track of what's happening if you're the type of person that doesn't look down in your HUD a lot to read the icons. Like you want to see, like critical position is easier to see if your dog is close to you.
Oh, nice! I got you. I just so you can read the dog's body language. Better with that one. I like that one. I like that. And so the other one, Pooped. I have to say, I don't know who named that, but that gets me right in the dad jokes, that one. It's great. So your dog has a higher chance to find fresh droppings when idle. So I just have to say too, it says a higher chance. So can it already find fresh droppings for you?
Yes, it does find. The way the point of interest for the dog works is that when you're walking around, there's different types of things in the environment that kind of drags its attention, right?
Yeah.
A carcass, there might be a carcass close, and the dog might go like, "Oh, there's something close. I'd like to sniff that." There might be some other things that aren't specifically interesting for the player, but for a dog, it's interesting. That's just called pee or poop or something like that, trash, whatever.
Yes.
These kind of drag at the dog's attention all the time. But if you're moving through an area, it might not be enough attention drag for the dog to like, okay, I'm going to go sniff this, right? But taking this trait will increase the chances of the dog finding fresh poop.
Okay, that's cool.
So when you move through an area and there's fresh poop, there's a bigger chance that the dog goes like, oh, okay, I'm going to go sniff that.
Gotcha. And then so once it finds it, does it keep following that track, or do you have to follow it from that point on?
It notifies you that it's there, and then you have to take.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Yep. No, that's cool. And then the last levels. So level 30, so you get Brave. So your dog has a chance to ward off predator attacks. We mentioned that before, but let's go over it again. How does that one work?
So if you get attacked by predators specifically, not just aggressive animals, but predators,
okay.
Lions and wolves and stuff like that, the dog will always, when the predators are close to you, it will always give you a signal that there's something close to me, but the dog normally won't save you from an attack. But with this skill, the dog has a chance of actually warding off the attack. So as the predator is attacking you, it will like, oh shit, there's a dog here. I might. It's better for me to maybe not attack this guy.
Gotcha.
And then it just jumps off.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. I think it's a nice little touch, because I had it bark when I was getting charged by a Cape Buffalo in the weekend. That's a thing, right? It's like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the warning I was talking about.
Yeah.
So if the predator is far away,
But just to clarify, because like a Cape buffalo is not usually a predator, right?
No, sorry, yeah. If
Yeah.
you get attacked by an animal, whatever animal that is, the dog will come to your side and try to like it'll bark just to kind of
Gotcha.
signal like it's aware of what's happening.
I gotcha. And then if it's actually a predator, that's when it'll
Yeah.
will have a
Yeah.
chance. I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then the last one is Master Tracker. So your dog has a small chance to find the harvest without needing to follow the trail. So I'm guessing it just goes straight to the kill. Oh no, has Arshak disappeared in? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Do 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 do. Elevator music. Are you back, Arshak?
I think I might be back.
You're back. It's alright.
Am I back?
Yeah, it's good. I just
might
did
be
some
back, yeah.
impromptu elevator
Yeah,
music.
it's weird because I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh right. Okay. Oh, that's
Yeah, I
interesting.
can hear you. I
Ah.
just my picture freezes. Is it still frozen?
I'm not sure actually. I think you're okay. No, you're okay. You're good.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah. So let's start again. So I think the dog
Yeah.
goes straight to the kill, right?
Exactly. This trait upgrades the nose of the dog
Yeah.
to extreme amounts, and basically it doesn't really have to follow the tracks anymore and go straight
That
to
is
the
cool.
animal you shot. Yeah.
That is cool. So yeah, I think there's a lot to the dog, and I mean I've said it a few times now, but it just fits. The dog just works, right? So that's good. Now I'm going to take them to the where you buy the dog from quickly, and we'll go through that a little bit. Actually no, let's go into that. I'll do the next one last. So again, we'll recap. The first dog you get for free, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to pay anything. The next dogs after that, for your purchasable dogs, there is 45,000 credits for the doggo. You can pick male or female versions, and they are anatomically correct. Is that the correct word? Yep. So
that's the correct word for the correct thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So they have the correct bits and pieces for males and females,
Yeah.
The different coats options area is nice. Like 6 variations is great, and I've already seen some pretty cool photos today. Actually, I mean I really like this one, but I've already got this one now on Lucy, so the black and tan. So I think I might go. Where was it? This one here, I think red and black pigmented male is a good one. So, what are we going to name it, ladies and gentlemen? Name your dog. Throw me some ideas in chat, ladies and gents. I want to see. This is how you name your dog. And remember, you cannot change the name of your dog. So, pick wisely. If you accidentally headbutt the keyboard and call it ADFQZY, you're stuck with it. So, Graham. We should name it Graham after the old CM. That would be funny. You'd find that funny. Says throbbing. A blue Rufus. Brutus, that's a good name. Snuffles. Dakota. Oh, I like Dakota for a dog name. It's cool. Ruby. Ruby is Meg's name, Tara. Ruby's Meg's dog's name, I should say. Meg is Meg's name. Buster. I like Buster too. Timmy. Coda. Asher. Spot. What do you reckon? Is there anything in there?
Arshak.
Arshak. Oh, that is awesome. Barkington. Charles Barkley.
Chewy's a nice name, yeah.
Chewy? Let's go with Chewy then. Like as in Chewy? Chewy?
I-E?
I-E?
Yeah.
There we go. Done. We got Chewy, ladies and gentlemen. So this is where you set the difference. Like, see, Lucy is active now, so I'll put her in the kennel, and then you can pick whichever one you want from there. So let's set Chewy as active, and where are you, doggo? Out the back there. Whistle him up, and there we go. We have Chewy. It's as easy as that, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the dog does get back its focus when it's in the kennel.
Oh, nice! It's like resting in there.
It's resting in there.
Oh, that's cool. You can switch and change dogs. Get a real, get the labor force of dogs going. Arshak. No, that's cool. So, what is your favorite feature for the Bloodhound? Like, what is something you're like, yeah, super proud of that?
Oh, favorite feature. I don't think I have a favorite one.
Oh, okay.
I think the thing. Yeah, if not for Howl, I really like the Howl command.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think it's naturally as a developer the merge of how the features work together is what I get happy about. Like when I see people like really enjoying it.
Yes.
it's really hard to describe how happy you get when players like what you do. It's an amazing feeling. So I'm really happy that you guys like it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And because I was picking your brains on that too, and it's cool. Like, everyone tries to train teach the dog a trick and stuff like that, and everyone's proud of their dog's tricks. And so yeah, it's nice just to put a little howl command in there to kind of spice it up a little bit, So it's cool. So the next part of the segment, ladies and gentlemen, I've just put together to kind of get it's Arshak's personal opinions on stuff. So you'll see why I've said that in a second, all right? So don't take this as anything that's, officially coming from Expansive Worlds, but I think it's very themey, and I want to know from you, if you could pick the next dog, what would it be and why?
Backpack Chihuahua.
A backpack Chihuahua? Nice.
Attack Llama?
Attack I like it.
No, I don't know. I mean, we do talk a lot about like what's next, like what would be fun, what would be cool. The next type of dog. I think a pointer maybe. I don't know. Not sure. I'd leave it maybe in the.
It's like you've been coached through this or something, Arshak. So it's just like, Arshak, I know what Matt's going to ask you. Don't answer that question.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't answer that question.
I just got to watch a lot of beeps and errors and warnings from Skype.
Yeah, no, I think that's funny. That's awesome. So, actually, how far away are these? I'm hoping I can kind of call them over a little bit. Maybe not. I see a nice little red deer over there. That's cool. So if we do a retriever then, how do you imagine that would work? Again, theoretical questions here.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to give too much of an answer for those, because it's big questions, right? Very big questions of how would the dog work. There's so many things that needs to be considered, because at the moment, if you shoot an animal or a bird in water, it floats towards you, right?
Yes.
So we need to again make sure that the dog we're building is useful. It has a place. It has circumstantial use for you as a player. Also, we have to go dig deeper into how do people like to hunt with a retriever? Do they? Obviously, it's fun to sit with your friends and shoot ducks. So, do you have one retriever with you or multiple retrievers in a group? If it gets a bird, does it specifically know which one is your bird, or could you get your friend's bird? There's a lot of things to consider and iron out, which I think that maybe players don't really think about sometimes. How many questions we ask and how many things we have to iron out and make sure it works correctly.
Yeah, no, that's cool, and I think it's. I think the community is kind of, understanding now. Some of the limitations we've had, and hopefully you guys can see the changes we're making too. We've always been really committed to actually listening to you guys and collecting your feedback and working on that feedback. And the dog survey was great. You guys did fantastic, and we had a much better picture of what people expected from hunting dogs, right? Because it's such a huge field, huge field.
Huge field. Yeah. Different rules, different types of dogs, different ways of people using the dogs, different. People are totally in love with their type of dog. A lot of people use multiple dogs. Some people use all-round dogs. There's a lot of different things, and I'd like to just give a little thank you for everybody that takes part in the surveys. It does help us a lot. We try to listen, we try to read everything we can, and kind of get a good picture of what you guys want and what pain points are for you.
Yeah, no, I think it's good, and the other thing that I like about as a community manager is when people say to me, "You don't listen to the community," or "That's not what you asked for," I can say, "Yes, it is."
Yeah, exactly. Look right here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it might not be what the individual's preference were, but we've got something nice to fall back on confidently, so that's really good. And so we've got a little bit of time. I'm going to go and try and find this red deer that just shot in, because I think hopefully the red deer. Come here, doggo. Hopefully the deer's run quite a way, so I can really put a lot of tracking on. Oh, so that's a good point too. If the dog gets stuck, I think I just saw it there. It just teleports back to you.
Well, it doesn't teleport. It runs back to you. I don't want to use the word teleport.
Oh, okay.
That's so...
Okay. No, I just saw it there, like
Yeah,
jam,
no, it does
yeah.
teleport back to you. Like
No.
if you get too far away, it teleports to somewhere, hopefully where you can't see it, and then it runs towards you. So it'll teleport to behind your back or something.
I gotcha. And then, what about if this blood must be here? You know what? Let's get the doggo to find the blood. It's like blood must be here somewhere. There's so many tracks around, so I'm just gonna put the doggo out. Get the doggo on it. But what was I talking about? I can't even remember now. Oh, yeah, that's right. Someone was asking, what happens if it's in a tree stand? Like, if you're in a tree stand or a blind, what happens to the dog?
It'll stay at the ground. It won't run away. It'll keep close to you.
Okay, that's cool. And
But it won't go inside the blind and stuff like that.
No, that's cool. But is it like a good idea to tell the dog to sit?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That's what I would recommend as well. But it'll keep close.
Gotcha. I think the dog's just constantly growling at me. I don't know if there's like a cougar close by or something here, but it's definitely...
Oh, is it? Then
yeah.
it should be, yeah. It should be some.
It's definitely not happy. It's still doing the tracking, so... But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and regarding the levels, there is a possibility that you have a level, let's say 30 companion and a level 0 tracker if you never track with your dog. That's a possibility.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm going to, like I said, I see the deer now, but we'll let him feel special. And then quickly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to run over the patch notes that came with this too, because a lot of good fixes. And then if you've got any other sort of questions or comments, as per usual, and I know Meg's been spamming a lot, if you've got any issues, we want to know about them, please. So send a ticket into support. That'd be the best way to do it. It gets logged properly and put through the system that way. So, yeah.
I saw a question if the dog can get hurt by predators. The dog, it can't be hurt. You won't be hurt.
No.
Yeah, you can't lose the dog.
No, it's... Yeah. No. Oops, what am I doing? Sit. There we go. So, give him a bit of a encouragement. Alright, so I'm going to open up the patch notes now. You guys can have a look at Doggo while I zoom out and have a think about if you've got anything else, that you want to ask Arshak. So, patch notes, I have them prepared earlier. Here we go. Sorry, it's taking a while to open them up. Alright, so this is going to take a long time, alright, because there's a lot. Let's start with the bug fixes. Obviously today Black Buck Truax came out and the Bloodhound, but bugs, and these are like the featured bugs. So reworked animal simulation code, which should fix issues with animals not showing on time at need zones and not dropping clues, while also improving performance. The longbow can now be used to complete several bow hunting missions in Leighton Lakes and Hirschfelden. Fix several issues resulting in animals falling out of sync between players and multiplayer. That'll be a really good one. Fix the issue with Trophy Lodge multiplayer, where a guest would not spawn in an empty lot, would spawn an empty lot, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully now all your friends can come and visit your Trophy Lodges again in multiplayer. So for me, that's a big one. I know you guys have been waiting for that fix for a long time. On PC, the animal ranking leaderboards will not be empty anymore. Fixed... I hear something running around me. I can't see what it is. Fixed certain cases where the game would shut down due to becoming disconnected from the Steam server. Additional updates. Animals and environment. Fixed turkeys so that they properly flee when spooked. Fixed an invisible horn on bighorn sheep on a very low scoring set of horns. Red fox feeding zones no longer show up right next to European rabbit burrows. Tweaked several side missions from, I can't never say that, Vuale's Ark on Leighton Lake so that they are no longer extremely hard to complete. Revised the number of coyotes in Chila Lake to complete a mission. Walking through shallow water won't be too loud anymore. Fixed rangefinder bow sight, so it shows distance to target in yards when using the Imperial unit system or the Freedom units, as most people know them as. I'm getting run over by something out there. User interface and multiplayer. Fixed an issue where human tracks related to various missions would show a random animal icon in the tracking HUD. So that's probably the tar icon that you guys would see. Fixed issues where mounting weapons on gun racks during multiplayer session would prevent player from entering their lodge again. Fixed an exploit that allowed to harvest the same animal multiple times under severe network lag. Fixed issue where confirmation prompt would remain on screen after closing store and could result in buying wrong items. Fixed issue with ATV prompt showing for all players in a multiplayer game. Hunter Mate will not show black screen now when user fast travels between outposts and Aotearoa Reserve. Fixed issue that made it impossible to jump or go prone after fast traveling from a tree stand. Various cracks, fixes, and then there's improvements. Guys, go to all the regular places to read up in your own time as well. Steam or in the Discord as well. And yeah, on the website too, I do believe. Back up and running now. So I'm getting just randomly run over by Axis there, apparently. Ooh, that's a big one.
Somebody asked if you can give commands to your friend's dog in multiplayer. The answer is no. You can only give your own dog commands. Somebody also asked you if you have a male dog and a friend has a female dog, can you get puppies? I can confirm that as absolutely true. That is...
No, it's not true. It's not true, ladies and gentlemen. Where did I just actually, you know, let's get the doggo on it. So there we go, that's cool. Yeah, so have you guys got any other questions or concerns? And please, guys, remember, if you're having any issues, let us know. Go to send an email to support@thehunter.com. Let them know, you know, as many details as you can. How do you replicate something? What console platform you're on, be it console or PC, and yeah, go from there basically. So yeah, all the dogs are neutered. That's right. That's what happens. Wow, that's a funky one. I like that one. It's cool. So there we go. Yeah, but anyway, have we got any more questions? Can you see anything out there, Arshak, that you think should be answered?
No, I think we got most of them.
Yeah, I think it was a good stream, nice informative one.
Yep.
There's a lot of information to it, guys. This has been, you know, a really big undertaking, and you know, I don't do any of the coding and stuff like that, but personally, I just want to say thanks to the dev team. You guys have done a fantastic job on this one, and I think it's, for me, looks like the best release we've ever done. Just gonna put that out there. It's the vibe in the community is good. You know, there's a few little things that people are picking up, but the quality is really good, and it's so nice to see the community and stuff really pumping again. So, Arshak, thank you very much, and the rest of the devs out there too. If you're watching, appreciate it. So,
thank you for having me, guys. It's been really fun. I'm really happy that you like it. I'll send your love to the rest of the dev team.
That's good. And I wanted this to release tomorrow so I could pretend it was an April Fool's joke as well. Just gonna let you guys know. Hey, Arshak.
Yeah, we can call the puppies thing a for Staples.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, Arshak, my man, thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate it, and it's been a good stream.